Hello there. Scottish tourists have been shortchanged by Nicola, Sturgeon and the SNP. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please press the little bell, but also select the all option or you won't get any notifications. So, some UK tourists are more equal than others when visiting France, where only the double-jabbed can partake of public life. Because tourists from Scotland are being turned away from attractions, cafes and restaurants due to the French digital vaccine passport system, President Macron's draconian pass sanitaire, being unable to recognise Scottish proof of vaccination. While those from England and Wales can savour the French restaurant experience, not for them being forced to get food from a supermarket. And all because in their quest for an Indie Ref 2 and independence, Nicola Sturgeon and her SNP just have to do everything differently to the way Westminster does it, whatever the poor outcomes or extra costs. At the moment, Scottish travellers can only get paper verification of their vaccine status, but those from England and Wales enjoy the benefit of a digital QR code system. Now, this is a good news story on two fronts for me. The first being that it brings those divisive and 1984 type vax passes into disrepute. And secondly, it brings Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP into disrepute as well. And when the people of Scotland find that they are second-class travellers to places like Norway, or they have their travel plans severely limited because their local devolved politicians are insisting on playing the independence game, then it can only dent the SNP. Or are they going to somehow blame Westminster? Or maybe even the Russians? Scottish Tory MP Andrew Bowie lambasted the SNP, saying, "Despite months of warnings, the Scottish Government has utterly failed the Scottish people and looks set to inflict further damage on a much beleaguered Scottish travel industry. By their sheer incompetence and unwillingness to join the NHS X app scheme in England, develop their own app or provide a QR code with each vaccination, they have made Scots second-class citizens in terms of international travel. Families who hope to be united after months of separation are having more distress and worry piled on by this shambles of a government too focused on doing things different to England than working in the Scottish people's best interests." And if I remember rightly, Lord David Frost, the UK post-Brexit negotiator, was condemning the Scottish devolved government for its people having meetings with EU officials. Well, they were obviously not talking about vax passes and helping the people of Scotland, were they? And it doesn't look like Brussels is in any hurry to come to Sturgeon's rescue on this either, does it? The Labour Party Shadow Scottish Secretary Ian Murray also had a go, saying, "This is another mess created by the SNP. It's been clear for many months that this technology was necessary, but the SNP government hasn't done the prep work. The system isn't working." With the SNP government response from one of its spokespersons simply being, "We are developing an app to make it easier to show COVID status for international travel. This will include vaccination records and we aim to release this next month." Doesn't exactly convey the intention to act speedily, does it? And I wonder if it will be as successful as one of their ferries. But the woes don't end there for poor old Scottish tourists. It turns out they also only have access to a single-source government-approved test when they get back to Scotland from their limited jaunt abroad. Whereas south of the border there is a choice of test suppliers. As a result, Testing in England and Wales can be as cheap as £25, but in Scotland it'll set you back £170. How many more ways can Nicola make life different and more expensive and more difficult for the people of Scotland? Well, she has been paying the head of the nationalised Ferguson Marine Shipyard a daily rate of £2,565. Yes, every day. And according to the Telegraph, Tim Hare has invoiced the Scottish taxpayer for £1.3 million so far. But it also reports that Tory MSP Liam Kerr said, Ferguson Marine has lurched from one financial crisis to another in recent years, and the SNP have blown millions of taxpayers' money as a result. SNP ministers have left our island communities without lifeline ferries, with no end in sight. The public will be appalled that SNP ministers signed off on such an extortionate daily rate. There is a real risk this company could collapse. Yet SNP ministers appear content to continue to pay top bosses thousands a day despite the failures continuing. And Nicola Sturgeon and her SNP supporters want everyone everywhere to believe they could run an independent Scotland. Farcical. If it wasn't for the UK system of redirecting English taxpayers' money into the Holyrood coffers via the Barnett formula, Scotland would have gone under years ago. Now, before I get to the next item, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug with my mug on it, link in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. So the UK economy is doing well in its recovery as the pandemic restrictions are lifted, spurring the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, to say that the UK will absolutely not be pursuing a policy of austerity. According to the Office for National Statistics, UK GDP increased by 4.8% in the second quarter of the year. And you can see from the graph that our economy took quite a bit of a hit when the effects of the first lockdown kicked in, but that it rebounded somewhat and is now on the climb out of the dip. And if you look at the slight dip caused by the credit crunch in 2008, which at the time ruined many people, then you get the severity of just shutting the country down during a pandemic. Now, 4.1% of the 4.8% increase in GDP was mostly down to a surge in household consumption as restrictions were lifted, with the ONS saying, in output terms, the largest contributors to this increase were from wholesale and retail trade, accommodation and food service activities and education. But we are still 4.4% below where we were before the lockdowns. And talking to Sky News, the Chancellor Rishi Sunak said that the economy is recovering well and that when it comes to the autumn spending review, what we're going to see is absolutely no return to austerity. People are going to see very strong investment in public services over the course of this Parliament. And he went on to say that the public will see the government spending £100 billion a year more every year than in the past to deliver the promised 50,000 more nurses, 20,000 more police officers and 40 new hospitals. Now that figure of 4.8% growth in the UK economy is 3 times that of Germany, the engine room of the EU economy. Just thought I'd mention it. So what's your opinion on the SNP failing Scottish tourists and the UK economy bounce back? Please like and comment below.